You want to be a teacher in Serbia or other countries?
Well, not gonna lie, I think that'd be a very nice career. Although, not gonna lie, these days, even here or even in other countries, actually, it's how would I say, teaching is no longer as let's say easy or as I'm gonna have to say as profitable maybe as before.
Mm-hmm.
Very often, teachers, especially younger teachers like myself nowadays they very often don't find full-time teaching jobs easily, or they do but they're given way too many students to deal with, which of course isn't bad always, but sometimes it can be really exhausting. And
Mm-hmm.
that is partially because, at least here nowadays, schools tend to hire fewer teachers per subject, but instead they assign more classes to a teacher. Yeah, because we don't really have that many children nowadays. We do, but there's generally a lack of kids in comparison to maybe when I was a student. So it's easier for them to hire, let's say, two teachers for six classrooms rather than to have, let's say, five teachers and, one teacher per classroom. It kind of depends on the school.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't mind working as a teacher, but I do believe that it would be a lot more stressful
Mm-hmm.
than before. But I honestly think that I'm most likely going to, work in a company as well somewhere, especially because I do plan on learning a few extra skills when I finish with my master's studies, just to kind of, make my how would I say, choices a little bit wider, broader,
Mm-hmm.
instead of focusing or specializing just on one thing.
Balancing out something different,
Yeah,
right? Mm-hmm.
exactly. I'm sure you've been asked this question before, but tell me, so would you consider working abroad in the future, or would you prefer to stay in your country?
I would rather work abroad than work
Mhm.
just in Japan. Yeah, I aspire to work abroad because I don't know.
Mhm.
I study English now. When it comes to fish, sea creatures, there are more resources in other countries and other ocean, like trading those seafood. Or like I've heard that health consciousness in Europe or America, they tend to eat fish more often because they consider fish to be very healthy, and many
Mhm.
people vegan, those people's their consciousness. So I think
Mhm.
I want to contribute those people who are like minority food who can only eat fish, and I'm also curious about the diverse. I want to work abroad.
Yeah, definitely, I can understand that. I guess I can say in my case it's kind of similar. I mean, I have considered working abroad, although getting a job as an English teacher abroad, I believe would probably be a little bit more difficult because nowadays foreign countries usually if they take in foreign teachers, those teachers are usually native speakers.
Oh yeah.
So, as a Serbian, it might actually be a little bit more difficult to get a job as a teacher in a foreign country, but I wouldn't mind it.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, even if I was to work in a company somewhere, or maybe even like have a slightly different kind of line of work, I wouldn't really mind it that much, but I'm not sure, where I would work. A
Mm-hmm.
part of me would like to stay in Europe, simply because I'm familiar with European countries more. But a big part of me would also like to maybe go to the United States or Canada or maybe some other place like that. Maybe I should have asked you this before, actually, at the beginning. But nowadays, for example, when you're not busy studying or job hunting and such, how do you usually spend your free time or when you are on vacation?
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you started any new hobbies these days, or do you have anything in particular that you're interested in your free time?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I spend time watching Netflix nowadays because I
Hmm.
think this is the last time to do binge watch of series. So
Hmm.
far, I've finished watching Walking Dead, which has 9 seasons, and Stranger Things. with 3 seasons on
Mm-hmm.
Netflix. So yeah, definitely I spend time watching Netflix and work and taking class here and studying a
Mm-hmm.
little bit for English exam, which would be helpful when I require to the company I want to
Mm-hmm.
work overseas. The test
Yeah.
attest to my fluency in English. They're the way I spend time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Yeah, well, I guess in my case it's a little bit similar, except that in my case I tend to binge watch on YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
I think YouTube is one of the websites that opens up pretty much the moment I open up my browser. It's like it's immediately there, and I gotta say, for both me and my partner, YouTube has greatly replaced, traditional TV for us.
Mm-hmm.
Although, of course, I still enjoy the traditional, like, movies and TV shows. We don't have Netflix right now, unfortunately, but we do, we do like to watch, especially British and American comedy shows or dramas.
Mm-hmm.
Comedies, I think, are definitely our, like, Friends or That 70s Show, or, for example, these days, for example, we have finished a show called Silicon Valley,
Mm-hmm.
which is honestly, I would say, kind of like a drama, but also primarily
Mm-hmm.
about the IT industry and such. So,
Uh, Entrepreneurship, something like that.
something like that. Yeah, basically a bunch of it's very much like the story of how Microsoft and Apple started. You have a bunch of friends who come up with this amazing new software idea, and they're basically trying to start a company based on that, and it's very fun. But these days we have been busy with other things, so we haven't really had the chance to watch anything too much. But internet is always there
Yeah,
when you're taking a break.
yeah, waiting for you. I've heard the name, and I think I watched the trailer of Silicon Valley. Oh, and this is thrilling. Very innovative, and it's gonna be make me feel like I'm innovative.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
Hmm.
gonna watch Silicon Valley.
Yeah, so one thing I didn't really like the show at first. My boyfriend found it time because he is dealing with programming and computers. He's basically a lot more interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't quite like it at first, but in the end, I mean, it really was a fantastic show. And what I really liked, at least from my perspective, because I'm completely a new person to that kind of industry,
Mm-hmm.
I think they did a pretty good job at making a comedy, but also giving a very good idea to, people who watch what that industry is like.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, it is a bit of a drama at the same time because the guys, they go through hell, as they would say, in order to start their company. And all of the challenges that they face during the show are actually quite realistic from what I understood. So it definitely is a good show if you want to learn or a little bit more about how those companies, compete with each other and how it all works. So that's one of the things that made it really interesting for me, at least.
That sounds,
Mhm.
yeah, really interesting. Yeah, to know how those companies, big tech companies, build and grow. That's very interesting. They are developing like
Uh-huh.
skyrocketing. So
Yeah.
nowadays, the number every top company, tech oriented companies like Apple, Microsoft, GAFA.
For me, I gotta admit, some parts of English were, I guess, a little bit difficult to understand. Not
Mm-hmm.
because of the language itself, but because some of the terms used were, of course, a little bit more business-like. But overall, I don't think that the show itself is very difficult. So it would be, good English practice as well. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for listening.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right. It will be. Last question. So this is not related to that, but I'm wondering because we are kind of millenniums,
Uh-huh,
right?
millennials.
And I've heard the news that millenniums are picky about the something, everything like products, food they we eat, cause they emphasize like meaning behind that. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel that's why I'm interested in the dietary habits or developing dietary habits, and then I want to contribute that. Are you picky, or do you have some special mind toward food?
Not gonna lie, I think even though I'm generally open to everything, but I gotta say I am a little bit picky simply because of the quality. Because I can say for sure that now there is a much greater variety of products that I can get than, for example, my mother when she was a child or where she was my age. So I think it's definitely to be expected that most of us millennials are going to be a little bit more picky because there's just way too many things to choose from. So that just makes me want to pick, the best thing, generally speaking.
You have many options, so it's defined the ability to choose best things among those, right?
Exactly, that's correct. At least
Yeah.
that's just my view, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a question.
No problem at all. Thank you also very much for today. It was really nice to meet you, and I really hope to see you again soon for a new class.
Yeah, it was fun talking to you, and I hope to see you again soon. Catch you later.
Say thank you. Bye.
Bye.